Welcome back, everybody. Today the video is going to be a little bit different. It's pre-recorded, so I have to record the audio over this. Today we're going to be doing some Void Boss 3, difficulty 8. We've already cleared the first two, so looks so beautiful there on the screen, seeing both of those completed, and hopefully trying to clear that third Void Boss as well for all those extra Destiny transition mats. Yeah. So we're going to go over the builds real quick. We're going to be using our Aspen, 31 million attack. I'm going to be using Antler's Cane. No boots for the speed order because we do not want him faster than a few people. Crit, attack stone, of course. Not fully upgraded, but unfortunately it's on the second stone slot, so we can't just lock attributes. Full attack here, attribute reduction, purify. These are the void enables we're going with. Our damage reduction, skill damage and holy damage. Of course, we're doing an energy feed, so off the active. And then these are just all of the Destiny transition skills that I used for this setup as well. And yeah, there I went with the reduced attack for some survivability. Of course, going with the first one there to deal more damage to enemies above 50% HP. Using our HHA, who's going a little bit faster than our LFA, which is why he has the speed enable, but still no boots because he's going slower than some of the other support heroes. Demon Bell on him for the energy feed. And of course, full defensive void enables or void imprints. His Destiny transition honestly really isn't that great. But you know, still a little bit extra damage and things like that. And that, again, the attack reduction there for some extra survivability. Moving on, we got our PDE, who is also just going to be built full tank for the most part with an elusive mirror for that energy feed. Of course, dot removal, same void imprints there. Her Destiny transition is a little more important though because she provides a lot of support. And then, yeah, just all damage reduction and armor from her. Just because we're not using any crowns or fans or cats or anything like that. So, and then she has the speed attack stone on her, Alora, just because we need her to go before our Aspen. Same void imprints, all defensive. And then, again, her Destiny transition is super important just because, you know, that added survivability. Because the Void Boss 3, everybody hits like a tank. Then our DGN here, also built full HP. She's going last in the speed order, I believe. Again, with the dot removal, same void imprints. And then, you know, don't really have much for a Destiny transition. But before I set this up, because I set this up and then I went over it and recorded it, but I realized that I had it on her basic for gaining 3 layers of Destiny transition or transition, whatever it's called. Which is not great because we're using the energy feed, so I wasn't getting any of that buff. And her Destiny transition skill is great. Then MFF, hers doesn't really matter because she has to do a basic attack in order to get it off. And if we're using an energy feed, hopefully she's not, you know, actually getting that basic off much because we want to keep that energy feed going. We're using HHA core here for a little bit more survivability just so that we can get the blocks in that we need. I also thought about using DGN core, but I wanted to test it out with the HHA core first. Then the snake pet as well for the synergy with MFF. And then I had MFF and SQH in the backline because they typically die for me first, so they get some of the Destiny transition buffs from, I forget who it is, it might be SQH. But yeah, I was a little nervous. I've been running a different setup using DTV that uses a few, yeah, see, unbending will already in the first round. But I was using a DTV setup that used a few crowns and an auspicious lucky cat. But honestly, people are getting Unbending Will procced in the first round anyways. It really just depends on DGN getting those debuffs out. A few times we'll see like the -1 damage here. Yeah, speed order is super important. We just want MFF and SQH to just buff our Aspen actives. He doesn't get a lot of damage out in the first few rounds just because you know the boss is not under 59%, and he has Antlers cane on. Even there, he got some decent damage out though, and the fears are super helpful when they do happen. Just because allows us to not get hit as much. But you can see we're chunking that first, or the boss's health down pretty well. Survivability's going pretty well. Everybody's getting their blocks in. Everybody besides LFA pretty much has full shield up. Actually, now he has pretty much full shield up. And really all due to those DGN debuffs. You won't really... Oh, there we go. Big active from Aspen. But you won't really see the effects of DGN's debuffs too much because of the shields. So, like, if any of my heroes are taking in that -1 damage, you won't really see it because if they're attacking the shield, it's just going to say -0. So that the shield's not going to go down very much. This is a super fun build, really. I really enjoy this game mode. But, even with the boss down, those minions can do quite a bit of damage, as you just saw. Getting SQH pretty low, and I believe she already had Unbending procced, so you really don't want her to be taking that much damage in. Yeah, there you go. So even without the boss there, the minions can still do quite a bit of damage. And that's unfortunate because now our energy feed is broken, but LFA is still just putting out so much damage. It's actually nice there because we got the MFF buff from her Destiny transition skill, and the DGN actually finished off that minion right there. But since the energy feed was broken, MFF actually got that Destiny transition skill off, allowing our Aspen to get even a little bit more damage out from her buffs, even though it's just her skill that she has right now, nothing extra. But yeah, this was my first run at this strategy, and it went really well. I'm super happy about this one. Nice little boost in materials there. It gives a lot of stellar. And we're hitting in the E+14s, which is nice. And then, yeah, we get right into the next boss. I actually didn't get any more leaderboard points because I got the max amount of points on difficulty 6, which is more than any of the points I've gotten on 7 or 8. Just because how long the fights have lasted. But yeah, immediately coming into this one, this boss hits so much harder. It's ridiculous. See, my LFA almost just died right there. I actually thought he was going to, but then the minion there that went after the boss did not hit him. But yeah, this one is a lot more difficult. Ramps up quite a bit just because they're hitting so much harder. Yeah, see, like, no shields are really staying up. Everybody's at low HP. SQH dies in round 2, which is really not good. Last round, she died after LFA had killed off the boss, which makes it a lot easier. Still getting some good fears in, though. HHA is nice with those stuns, just for a little more survivability. We are getting the MFF buffs here because the energy feed is already broken. But and then you see a lot of the -1 damage there, which is nice. But yeah, it's still just not going well. LFA not really getting too much damage in round 4. And then, again, no buffs on his active there, so he's not really doing much damage there either. So, not a great fight. 95%. My backup heroes are not going to do anything. Although I do still have a DTV, but the support is very important. And here I thought about using the DGN core just to see if I could get a little more survivability out or if that would help in any way, shape, or form. But I mean, one thing I do hate about the core activation screen is that the space where you can actually read the text is so tiny. It's so tiny you could barely see anything. You got to scroll down infinitely. It's really annoying, but I decided to stick with the HHA core just because that precision reduction I feel like is very important on this boss. Even though in round 1 you will not see a lot of blocks at all, and there my LFA died, and I was just like, okay, fuck this. It's because like that is the worst thing, especially using like an HHA where he just survives for super long, or I guess in this fight he's not surviving super long. But whenever you go into a void boss battle and your damage dealer dies in round 1, round 2, it's the worst. I had that happen a lot on the second void boss, because that boss also hit pretty hard in the early rounds, and it's just so annoying. Because then, especially on the second void boss, because you can survive that one decently well, and it just takes forever to actually get out of that. But yeah, those were our 3 attempts for that day. Thankfully, we were able to clear one of those game modes right there. Got a lot of good mats out of it. But yeah, was able to convert those, and I think next time I'll try a little bit more of that. Yeah, we get to upgrade the MFF or the SQH here a little bit. And I thought I was going to have enough to max her out, and it was really close. But good buffs all around. But I ended up coming 1 level short on her. But I can idle that a little bit. But yeah, pretty good runs there, and buffed my LFA a little bit with that SQH tenant. So I was trying to see if I'd hit 2 billion CCL yet, and then I remembered that my DGN was a tenant for my MFF to give her some survivability because I wasn't using DTV. So I swapped back over because I was really curious to see as to whether I hit that 2 billion power yet. But I did not get it. Came up just short, 9 million BP away from 2 billion. But, I mean, I'll be there in no time. But, yeah. Pretty good run there, and yeah, thank you all for watching. I'll see you next time.